Welcome back, everyone. What's going on? Happy Tuesday night. Tuesday is my new sipping whiskey night. So let's see, but we have obviously some special guests on today. We're here with our good friends Phil and Julie from the Bourbon Van, Chris from Bourbon of the Week, and our good buddy Justin over at Driftless Glen Distillery. But before we kick it off, let's go ahead and see who we have in the comments. I see Ron Edwards is here. What's going on, Ron? How are you? Good to see you, Ron. Ron and I were talking earlier today. I think Ron and I talk quite often. We're always talking about whiskey. So good stuff, Ron. Always good stuff, my man. Always good to hear your voice, brother. Who else we have on? Eric. Eric, how are you, my friend? Good to see you. Always good to see your name as well. Who do else? Oh, I see our good friend. Is that Micah? Micah is in the house. What's going on, Micah? Cheers to you as well, man. So we have some fun guests tonight. Gonna have a blast. We're picking another barrel. So I think this is, gosh, I have to ask Phil and Julie. It's either our second or our third barrel pick together, but it's like such a fun, just group of people. I love partnering with the Bourbon Van as well as Bourbon of the Week. So gonna bring on our guests here in a little bit. Who else do we have? Tater Dan, what's going on, brother? How are you, man? Rob Layback. Good to see you, Rob. Cheers to you as well, man. Always good to see your name. Keith Gagel. What's going on, Keith? How are you? Justin, I love that. Ash Stifter, how are you, my friend? All right. So let's go ahead and bring on our guests. Like I said, we have some fun guests in the house today. I think they are, and I always say this because it's true competition between our good friends down in Nashville, but they're one of the coolest couples by far in the whiskey tube world. Let's go ahead and bring on Phil and Julie from the Bourbon Van. What's going on, Phil and Julie? How are you guys?
We're not competitive.
But we're doing great.
Yeah, we're doing great. We're just hanging in there, but we are not competitive. That's
not competitive. All right. I know Aaron and Josh might have like their own 2 cents about who's the coolest couple in whiskey world, but I'm gonna say it's a tie. I'm gonna say it's
we'll take it. We'll be the coolest on this side.
Yeah, we'll take
there
the
West
Coast. How about that? Let's just split it down the middle. Yeah. We'll take this side of the country. That seems fair to me.
Love it, love it, love it. That's awesome. So Phil and Julie, what is going on with you guys? What's new with the Bourbon Van?
You know what? We're doing a lot of outdoor content right now. We've got a lot coming up of just being on the road. We've got 5 Sip Friday coming back this week. We've got some content from hanging out in the Oregon dunes lately. That's been a lot of fun. We rode our bikes around Crater Lake recently. They just did a whole circuit all the way around that national park, and that's some cool stuff coming out from that. So a lot of outdoor content coming from us. And of course, some whiskey stuff included in all that as well. So
always whiskey.
Yeah, I just got back from Chicago late last night, and big thank you to you for not only having us on and inviting us to do this pick with you, but also postponing this thing that was supposed to happen already on our behalf. We had some business to take care of out in the Midwest, and thrilled to be back and be able to be a part of this thing live.
Absolutely. No, you guys have a lot going on. So family first, that's always number one in my world, in my life. So I appreciate you guys. Obviously we kicked it back a day. That's no big deal at all. So, but glad to have you guys here. One of my favorite couples in the whiskey tube world. And I know we have Chris from Bourbon of the Week will be joining us in about 10 minutes. Chris is just coming from another obligation, but let's go ahead and bring on let's call it, this might be the best distillery in the state of Wisconsin, and representing them, our good friend Justin from Driftless Glen Distillery. What's going on, Justin?
How's it going, guys? Thank you for having me. I agree with you, Marcus. I'm right there. We're definitely in the top tier of Wisconsin craft distilleries. If we'll say that. We all like to play nice.
Exactly. So, Justin, I know, even for myself, and I know maybe for a lot of people out in the whiskey tube world, tell us a little bit about your role over at Driftless Glen, and then just about, what's new and innovating over at Driftless Glen as a whole.
Yeah, so my role with Driftless Glen for the last 6.5 years, I primarily manage all of our offsite sales for the state of Wisconsin. I've been in the industry for 16 years. So, again, 6.5 years ago, I was approached by a colleague of mine. He's like, dude, we have this craft distillery in Baraboo, Wisconsin that we work with. You'd be a great fit. At that time, I was working for a distributor. I was looking to try to move into more of that supplier role. I thought those guys always just got to go and hang out and have a ball and, take people out to dinner. It turns out that's not the case, I guess, when you work for a family-owned craft distillery. But up until late, as we were talking backstage, we just recently parted ways with our brokers. So now we're taking our company back And I just got back from South Carolina, so had a great week down there, and now managing Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa, and South Carolina. We brought in a new sales rep, sales manager down in Illinois named Bob.
Okay.
So he's having a ball down there. And then I have Brandon here with me. Brandon, say hi.
How's it going, guys? Thanks for having us.
So
hey, Brandon, welcome.
This is Brandon's second day on the job with Driftless Glen, and it's his second day in the industry as a whole. And he's going to be kind of my number 2 here in Wisconsin when I'm on the road. And again, to your question, as far as Driftless Glen goes, again, family-owned and operated craft distillery up in Baraboo, Wisconsin, right on the banks of the Baraboo River, right in the Driftless region of Wisconsin. So that area the glacier did not hit. That's where we get our name from. And again, one of the main reasons for landing in that region is the abundance of sand in our soil, right? So, boys down south talk about the limestone all the time. Well, up here we talk about our sand.
Okay.
So that really helps with that natural filtration. We are 100% grain to glass. So everything you guys are going to be sipping on tonight is all made 100% at Driftless Glen Distillery from grain to bottle. And all of that fun stuff. We have a full restaurant and full bar for those of you that are watching tonight that are within a easy drive. We are open 7 days a week and about 50 minutes north of Madison, a couple hours from Milwaukee. I went to public school, so bear with me from Chicago.
That's awesome, man.
So we've been around almost 9 years. It's just been one heck of a journey. We're owned by a husband and wife team, Brian and Renee Bemis. So they've been great, and they really kind of give our entire team the reins to kind of run the business how we see fit. We have Abby, our head of operations, who's been there since the first day they opened. We have Bethany, our head of marketing, who's been there for 3 years. Scott, our restaurant GM, myself. And then we have Nathan, who's our head distiller, who's 29 years old. So I like to jokingly say he's either really good or really lucky. I'll take it either way. So he's been around since just about day one as well. Then we have Casey, our warehouse manager, who's only 21 years old, but has been there since they opened as well. He started in the restaurant side of the business. And then if you guys ever buy a bottle and you see bottled by Casey or Angelica now runs our bottling warehouse. And that's it. So
that's cool, man.
To do the amount of weight that we roll out every year, it's pretty impressive to do that with that size of a team. Absolutely. And again, if you paid attention to those years, right? Not 6 months, not, a year, right? I think that's a testament to how Brian and Renee take care of their employees as well. So that's another reason we still stick around, right? Feels nice to be loved.
It does. No, absolutely, man. It's cool that so many people have been there from the beginning or like right after the distillery opened. So obviously Brian and Renee are doing a really good job of, keeping everyone, like from a tenure standpoint, keeping everyone like part of the family. So that's really cool. Really neat.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. That is awesome. So it sounds like Alan has been to your distillery and says it's a great place to visit. So I hear you, Alan. I need to get out to Wisconsin myself. So hopefully I have a chance to meet Justin and team in person. That'll be my personal goal for 2024. So
my door's always open at the distillery or my house. You just need to get here, right? Like I told you, I live 10 minutes from the Madison airport. So if you guys get here, you can have Brandon's guest room. We'll kick him out for the night.
We'll kick Brandon out for the night. I love it. That is too funny. Too funny. Good stuff. I know I saw some comments earlier about South Carolina. Yeah, South Carolina, a great place for whiskey. And as Justin just mentioned, he was just down in South Carolina. So speaking of South Carolina, I think you kind of covered it a little bit earlier when we were talking behind the scenes. But how many, I guess, like markets right now, roughly, Justin, is Driftless Glen in, like as of today?
So as far as I'll just go by states, because again, I'd be misspeaking just because I just recently got this back, right? So we're working through some things, but I know for a fact we're in Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa, Illinois, Kentucky, Tennessee, currently California, Florida, South Carolina, Michigan, and a couple on the East Coast there, but we're most likely pulling out of those on the upper East Coast. Again, just not enough weight up there. But hi to Grant from South, our guy there at Grapevine Distributing. So much love to him. He's been instrumental in our growth down south, no doubt. He's one of the reasons we actually decided to stay in South Carolina when I was crunching the numbers. without any assistance, they far and away had the best performance without having any support. And that was
nice.
Oh, sorry, we're in Texas as well. I apologize.
Okay, Texas too. All right, very nice. So Grant, you're responsible for South Carolina for keeping Driftless Glen doing very well in South Carolina. So we appreciate that. It's always good to have good whiskey down south also. And in Texas, okay, cool, very nice. I think you in order to be successful this day and age, you almost have to have a presence like in Texas, right? Texas has to be like a key market for most distilleries. Would you agree?
Once I finally visit Texas, I'll have a better idea. I won't lie. To me, it's a really daunting task as someone who even, I put on about 50,000 miles a year just in Wisconsin in my car.
Wow.
I think Texas is probably three times the size of Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Pretty spread out. I don't even know where I'd start. Right.
Yeah.
So we'll see when we get down there. I probably won't get down to that market till after the new year. We're just up against it right now, going into October, November, and December. So we'll see. But that's a daunting task down there. And one thing to remember too, Mark, is Texans, very loyal folks, right? They have a lot of great craft distilleries down in Texas. And
so true.
And we're one state away from Canada. So we're a little ways from Texas in the hearts and minds, I think. But, there's a lot of snowbirds that roll down to Texas as well. So.
Absolutely. No, well said. Indeed. Yeah, Rob, sounds like you definitely need to stop by the distillery the next time you're in town. Definitely make sure you check it out, Rob. Maybe I'll even meet you there, Rob. We can hang out together at the distillery. All right, so we are here. So I would tell you, Justin, I am super pumped, man. I had some of your bourbons. I had some of your ryes. Love them all, right? Love them all. But your ryes were like, I was telling Phil and Julie, and then also Chris will be joining us in a little bit. When I had your ryes, I was like, oh my gosh, this is like some special juice, man. So I like the fact, number one, that I guess we need, like Phil and Julie, we need like a secret like decoder pin, right? To figure out like, the proof on these bad boys, the age, Justin was very like, on the DL, just the barrel numbers only. I like that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's cryptic. I like the idea of just having absolutely no idea what we're in for. I've tasted I just tried a couple of ryes leading into this just to be ready for anything.
Excellent. Yeah. So it's up to you guys. I mean, I could kind of spoil the fun, or if you, I always like to have you guys roll through them blind as heck, and then go, okay, we got to know, like, where are we at here? I can tell you that they're all very similar in age. And they're all very similar in proof. But
all right, someone write that down. So similar in age and proof. Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Awesome. So I'm a gentleman. I'm always going to listen to Julie in this instance. So Julie, I'm gonna let you guide us.
Oh, we got to freeze.
I
can't tell if he's sitting still or
he's sitting perfectly still.
Wow, he's good.
He's great. Yeah. I don't know why he's trolling us like this, though.
Is he? Maybe he had to go look for the bucket, right?
Oh, right. Maybe.
All right, Phil and Julie, we'll carry it from here. Here we go.
I guess it's
all right. Anyway, Marcus, have fun. We'll get back to you later.
Yep. Sorry, Marcus, you're frozen there. I think it's Marcus and not the rest of us.
I know. Otherwise, we're just talking to ourselves right now.
We're in some sort of pocket dimension.
Yeah. Wait, it's not us, is it?
No.
It doesn't look like it.
Are we the problem?
Let us know in the chat.
Yeah, let us know if we're still alive or who's not still alive. I will say that this is maybe only the third time that I've had Driftless Glen. We can't get it here. Yeah. But the first time I ever had it was we were strolling in a neighborhood in Chicago. I was visiting family, and there happened to be
just a liquor store tasting.
Yeah, it was just like a little small crafty liquor store or whatever. And it said, come in for a free whiskey tasting. And of course we're like, well, yeah, okay, we're going to do that. So we headed on in, and it was Driftless Glen. And I was looking for a bottle to buy for my brother as a thank you, letting us stay here, yada, yada. And it was delicious. Bought the bottle immediately, and that was the gift. So that was like my first like experience with Driftless Glen. It was very positive. So.
Well, and then we visited Madison after that to see a friend there. And because we had tried it and loved it, we scooped up a single barrel there and took it home with us. And it didn't last very long. So that was just, we've only had bourbons. This will be our first experience with the Driftless Glen rye.
Yeah. I am back. Apologies for the technical difficulties tonight. It's been a fun night so far. All right, so Julie, you're going to guide us through. Where do you want to kick it off at?
All right, let's kick it off with, this is what they're labeled, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to say hashtag 1629.
Ooh, I like it. All right.
Yeah, we just went numerically.
Oh, did we?
Okay, cool. Sorry. I like that. I like it. I like it a lot. That works.
I panicked for a second because I saw the glasses laid out in front of me, and then I didn't realize that Phil had made notes of which one was which, because I was like, how are we going to know which one we're drinking?
So this is not our first rodeo.
It's not our first rodeo.
Absolutely. No, it's not. Ooh. And I do like, again, I'm a big fan of the way Justin set this up, where no information, no age statements off the bat, no mash bills, no nothing. So I like that. That's pretty cool.
And then real quick, too, to Daryl's question, do you offer our Naraha or cast strength near Knoxville? Gosh, I'm assuming he means Tennessee, right?
Yeah.
I'll admit we haven't done much with Tennessee in the last year or so. I'd be shocked. Daryl, I'll put my email in for anybody else that has questions on that kind of stuff. I'm going to put my email in here. And feel free to shoot me a note, and I'll do some digging tomorrow. Off the top of my head, I have no clue.
That's awesome.
Again, like I said, I just recently got the title change. No pay increase, but a title change.
I'm a team. How it always goes.
Always, right?
We can all relate to that. We can all relate.
Indeed.
Oh, unless I guess
this nose on 1629 is super aromatic. I think
yeah.
It's it almost smells like melted caramel and oak. It's really a strong nose.
I've got a true Julie note coming here.
Okay.
Fuzzy.
Ooh.
There's almost like it's citrusy, but there's like a vanilla. It's almost like static because it's not perfectly clear notes. It's almost like I'm getting various things all the time.
Yeah.
I get a lot of like floral meets caramel kind of notes, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Very minty floral, but then caramel at the same time.
Yeah, I don't disagree with any of that.
It smells like it's gonna be
complex.
Yeah, and a little proofy. Like
Just
on the
it.
nose, I'm like, oh, we're in the teens probably, at least.
It does.
Without even knowing.
I'll be curious to know, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I totally agree.
It smells delightful.
Totally agree.
Well, Marcus, thank you for having us on. I'm gonna take my first sip. Cheers.
There we go. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers, everybody.
Let's go. Oh, that's nice. That's really nice.
It tastes like a rye.
Oh yeah.
Thank goodness it tastes like a rye.
Very a lot more pepper in the palate that was there in the nose. Wasn't as minty or spicy in the nose, but very peppery in the palate.
Ooh, she's warm. Well, it is my first whiskey of the day, so
oh yeah.
I probably should have done a warm up. I did that last time. I forgot to do it this time.
That's right. Yeah, she is warm. You're right. She really is.
There's a lot going on here. It just keeps delivering.
Ooh.
It coats powerful. It's all over the palate. It's just
Man, I'm getting
putting on a robe.
Yeah, some dark baking spices on this. Ooh. She's got some heat to it.
She does, doesn't she? I mean, I still feel it. Julie kind of going down. I'm like, damn, I don't even need my second sip yet.
I haven't taken one either, Judge. We actually brought some water over too, so we can try that later on.
Ooh, the finish is really nice on this. For as warm as it is, there's no spiky flavors on this, like spiky notes. I feel like it's super balanced.
I like that note because it is really it's complex, but you're right. It's not spiky in any way. There's a lot to explore there, even though it feels really cohesive at the same time.
Yeah.
That's nice whiskey.
But I do get a nice funkiness. Marcus, I think you're dead on with that pepperiness.
Yeah. It's very peppery. Like I have to go in for a second sip now. I'm ready for it now. I'm mentally prepared.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Ooh, that's very peppery. sweet. It's almost like a 40-60, 40% sweet, 60% pepper, especially more in the background of the palate. Very bold, vibrant, very minty.
Those are perfect words to use.
I was just gonna say there's a hint of mint on that, and it's not like spearmint or anything. It's
it's really satisfying.
I don't know if it's like a peppermint, but it's
Yep.
That's refreshing.
Totally with you.
That sounds crazy, but that's refreshing.
Like that.
It is. It is. Huh. So try to rank each one: the nose, the palate, and the finish.
Justin, you'll notice that I do a lot of yum.
I mean, admittingly, Julie, I've done hundreds of barrel picks. I've probably heard or seen most of it, right?
Yeah.
From 10-minute barrel picks to 3-hour barrel picks. I like being somewhere in the middle there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's 3-hour ones when dudes start pulling out a flavor wheel and, can we try that one more time?
Yeah.
You'll never get that from us, I would tell you. Hey, at least for me, not a 3-hour stream. Number one, I would be asleep by then. Number two, definitely no flavor wheels, right?
So I don't know, it was last year or 2 years ago or something like that. I told Phil I need to get better, like being more specific with my flavor notes. But there's so many flavors that you just don't know or aren't familiar with, or you don't realize that you know. So I had him get me a flavor wheel. How many times have I taken it out?
She still just uses the words pink or green or brown. She lists flavors and colors, and I'm okay with it.
I looked it over and I was like, screw it.
You know what we should have done? I should have just let Brandon do this and give him 3 samples, and it's the second day ever, right? And you'd be like, Brandon, like, what are you getting?
Yep.
Liquor.
Liquor, exactly.
Tastes like college, kind of, but like higher class college.
Yeah. Throw Brandon to the ringers. I love it. Second day in.
Second day in. Go on the Zoom.
Yeah.
Yep. Do it all by yourself. So we actually have our good friend joining us. Chris, Bourbon of the Week, has joined us.
What's up?
Thank you. Hello.
What's up, man?
I apologize for being late, but you know how it goes. Work calls,
Absolutely, brother. We get it, man. Like we said, we're only one bottle down, man. It's perfect timing.
That's it. Beautiful.
Yeah, that's it.
Which one did you start with?
We're a couple.
29.
We started with 1629. You want to take a sip of that, baby?
So let's try that one first. Well, cheers, everybody. Welcome. Hello. Welcome,
cheers,
me, not
Chris.
you.
Appreciate you joining. I know you had a lot going on, Chris. So we happy to have you here, man, for sure.
Do we know anything about this? I don't know if this has been talked about yet, but R1629. That's all I got.
Chris, you wanted me to send you bourbon, right?
These are bourbons, correct?
Wait, now I'm confused.
No, they're ryes.
No, they're ryes. They're ryes.
What meeting is this?
Yeah.
How many of these have you had?
Oh my gosh. Too funny. Good
So
stuff.
we don't know anything. Is that what we're doing?
We don't know anything.
Blind?
We don't know the proof, age, nothing. Justin is
they are ryes though,
he's
right?
top
They
secret.
Are ryes.
They are
ryes. Yeah, they
Got
are.
me a little nervous.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
wait a second, that doesn't taste like a bourbon.
All we know is it's similar age, similar proof.
That's it.
Mhm.
And we figured we'd just do like a run through, and then we'll find out some more information.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It'll be like classic concentration. At the end of one line, we'll get some information. At the end of the other line, and the other way, we'll get some more information.
Is that how that works?
Don't you remember that?
My understanding is we have cash strength, and then you also have a 96 proof rye. Is that correct?
So when it comes to this, oh man, we're gonna give it away, right? Obviously, these are all at cast strength, right?
Okay.
So there, gave that away.
All right.
Um,
I'm prying.
If your 96 proof tasted like as warm as that one,
I was a
then
little nervous.
Yeah.
You guys would have turned the feed off right now and sent me a text saying, "Hey, come back in 5 years."
Yeah. Give me a couple more years.
I was a little warm for 96.
Yeah, that was 96. Oh man.
So when we do barrel picks, we don't pre-proof or anything like that. It just, with as many picks as we do up here and around the country, it just wouldn't. Nathan in our distillery would kill me if we were proofing. Hey, we want to do a 96 barrel pick. If I was proofing all those down, I mean, that's all Nathan would be doing. So they are like cast strength. They are all rye. They are all out of 53-gallon barrels. And if you're curious on the cooperage, I would tell you these are Kelvin cooperage barrels.
Ah, all right. So we got a little bit more info out of it. I like it. Thanks, Justin, for sharing.
We love
Candy
Kelvin
Road.
Barrels.
And I apologize, Marcus. I did see a comment. We need more in Arizona.
Yes, that was several of them too.
Yeah, sorry, our Arizona fans. That will probably not happen for some time. So
that's right. But you can get one here.
Yes, absolutely.
Exactly.
So there we go.
Hit that subscribe button and
absolutely
follow the link.
Yes, indeed, indeed.
Marcus, who do you go through again? You go through.
We're going through Jay over at Sharpee.
Cool, awesome, good old Jay West, great dude.
Yep. Yeah, awesome guy, super cool. So, Chris, you're one bottle in so far with us. Now you're tied. What'd you get off of 1629?
So you guys are a lot better at the nosing game. I tend to skip over that here. I try my best, but I'm terrible at it. As far as taste goes, definitely a rye. Definitely, I don't want to say mid teens, high teens on a proof maybe, and then fruity / florally as far as taste goes with some pepper on the end. That's where I'm at.
I hear you.
Are we on the same page? Yeah. Well, look at this guy.
I know.
Is that what everybody says? Or you guys?
Yeah, we did.
Dropping
especially the floral. There we go. See, one big happy team.
Yeah,
one big happy team. Speaking of, so Phil and Julie, keep me honest, and Chris as well. How many picks have we done? Is this our second or third? That's what happens when you start to get old. Second. Okay. Yeah. All right. There we go. All right. Well, I'm ready for the next one. Julie, if we're going in order, are we moving over to 16?
Yeah.
The devil's number here.
Dun, 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 dun.
Devil's Candy is up next.
I think I threw that one in there on purpose.
I like it.
The finish on this one, I can't even get rid of it, to be honest with you.
The first one?
No, it hangs around forever. Yeah.
First one
just looks like crazy and it hangs around forever.
That's a beast. That's a big boy. Seriously. 1629 that's a big boy. For sure.
Chris, don't
Candy Road.
Were you late tonight because you were pairing whiskeys with ice cream or what?
I was in the process. That's what we were doing.
Well, I want that video, man.
It's called the B-roll for this video. The B-roll for this video is going to be fantastic. I can tell you that. Just me eating ice cream and sipping whiskey for 25 minutes straight.
I watch every second.
Chris owns an ice cream. So that's like his I guess the love of his life is well, not his wife, but the day job, if you will.
Yeah.
Well, probably good.
He's super simple, but he loves ice cream.
Loves ice cream.
Let's just say he's dedicated.
Yeah,
he's dedicated.
So, Chris, have you seen the new ice cream in the market that has alcohol in it?
I've heard of it. We don't have anything like that over here, but I have heard of it.
We just saw that at a grocery store yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. I'm like, no. I mean, what aren't we putting booze in now? I mean, what could go wrong with throwing ice cream in your freezer that has booze in it, and then your 6-year-old is sitting on the couch going, "Daddy, it's time to take a nap."
Yeah.
we have seen that here, or in Oregon, not here where we live, but in Oregon before, and there's like a very small note that says 21 and older, and I was like,
really?
Seems like a tricky thing, because it was mixed
with
all the other flavors. It wasn't just like one section and then one section. It was with the strawberry.
Yeah, over in Carlton, they were using Bull Run whiskey in their ice cream.
They were, yeah.
Really? Interesting.
Good stuff, right?
Yeah.
Never heard of that before. Wow, whiskey and ice cream like truly together. I thought that was a joke. I thought, Chris, I thought that was gonna be your invention, but obviously it's already out there.
Now I need to get a new flavor.
I know. Oh, what do you guys think about 1666?
Going back and forth on the nose, I think this one is a touch more subtle, but
it is.
But it's still got a lot of things to like in there.
So I got some weird flavor notes that I've been playing around with. One, this one's not weird because it's normal for a rye, but it smells a little grassy, like so it's earthy. But then I also wrote down saltwater taffy, and it kind of has like the juice, like either a strawberry or a cherry, like juice. This is on the nose too, but it smells kind of like when, I don't know.
No, keep going.
I don't know. I just like saltwater taffy, but I mean, nobody likes it, but you have that flavor where it's kind of like that tartness.
What do you mean nobody likes saltwater?
I feel like everybody likes
taffy when they're on vacation. Nobody eats it otherwise.
It's only vacation. I was just gonna say that. It's nobody likes saltwater taffy unless you're in like Door County, Wisconsin, and you go by a candy shop and you're like, "Hun, saltwater taffy."
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. When you're on vacation,
you never buy.
It's the only time anyone ever eats it. You're absolutely spot on about that.
Yeah, I know. Buy it by the pound for some reason. But like, it's so stupid. But we all
That's
do
crazy.
it.
Wow. Hey, nothing wrong with that. So Whiskey Wisdom says that forget ice cream, shampoo, and tobacco conditioner. I do have the soap. But not
That's I don't want to party with him. That sounds like a dude who throws it down.
Yeah.
There's a lot of us that already smell like bourbon and tobacco. We don't need any more help with that.
Totally.
You got that right.
Sure.
I don't need to be going into work smelling like more bourbon.
You smell even more like bourbon and tobacco today.
You've been
All right, I'm gonna
drinking
drink
this
it.
morning? Nah, it's just my shampoo.
Yeah, we're gonna mark that one
is
down.
nice.
That's the new.
Good way to get yourself in trouble.
So Julie, I'm with you on the salted note. I almost get almost like a salted caramel, like a salty caramel kind of a note on this one, mixed with a little bit of mint and a lot more oak actually than the first one.
I
Interesting.
was thinking a little oakier myself.
Oh,
Yeah.
There it is.
Oak and a little bit of caramel.
I got a. I took a sip. Sorry, I went ahead.
You're ahead of
No,
us.
go ahead.
I can only
Oh,
nose
I like
for
this
so
note.
long before, and then
I like the nose a lot on this one.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. Go for it.
I got some nice lemon on that,
Citrus.
on the
Yep.
palate, and a little of that saltiness, like a little of the
Oh, yeah.
the salty juiciness.
Mm-hmm. Wow, you're right
Sound great,
with that
but-
lemon note. No, you're right about that with the lemon note. It's like a lemon citrusy kind of a note.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like a lemon toasted
That's
pecan.
That's completely different than 29. Wow.
Totally different.
Totally different.
Yeah, there's a nuttiness here. I didn't detect at all on the first glass. There's an intensity too.
Ooh, there's a stickiness to this one too. I don't know if there's a bit of a leather note on the finish
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, it's like a leathery kind of a tobacco kind of a note in a way. The finish is very clean too, compared to the first one, which was very much like super power. This is a very clean finish. This is nice.
This finish reminds me of lemongrass.
Mm-hmm.
I used that once to make a homebrew. Remember, it wasn't very good, but the lemongrass was nice.
Yeah.
It was terrible, but the lemongrass.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Cool.
It's a nice warmth to this one. I mean, I know that they're similar proofs, but this one, and maybe I'm just getting more accustomed to it now, but
Yeah.
maybe just a tick lower than the first
You
one at
think
first
so?
point.
I think this one hits a little hotter than the first one.
Do you?
Yeah.
Well, we'll see.
Really?
I
would have
think it'll
guessed
be
the first
interesting.
one. Oh, go ahead.
I was just to say, Julia, I think you're right. You know the drill, right? It's not your first rodeo, right? When you go back and revisit one, since you started clean, everybody else here had a few sips in them before they hopped on this,
Mhm.
YouTube live. So
Me and Julie usually end up on the same page with things, and I was gonna say the same thing. I was gonna say a tick lower.
It's funny, and Phil and I are typically on the same page also.
Yeah,
funny.
that's how it usually ends up working out.
It's like a crossover. I like that. I don't know. I think this is a few ticks lower from a proof standpoint, potentially, as of now. We
So you're
shall
the-
see.
You're the odd man out.
All right.
Yeah.
What do I know, man?
I also got
All
a little pink bubble gum on this one that mixes in with that like citrusy. This one feels or tastes a little bit earthier than the first one,
You know what I'm getting?
but just in a different way.
Different,
Interesting. You say earthier, but on the finish on this one, I'm getting a powdered sugar that's showing up now, and that's really, really nice. The longer I sit with it, the more I like it. I love powdered sugar notes on whiskey. I love it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one there, Phil. The nose to me on this one is so much more well-rounded than the first one. The first one was very Oh, aggressive.
Yeah, I would agree on the nose. Absolutely.
So, Marcus, one thing I did forget to mention right off the bat, but now I'm looking in my camera and looking behind me. So, in case anybody out there is going, man, so they've got 7,000 barrels of whiskey laying down up in little old Baraboo, Wisconsin. How the heck did they produce that much in that amount of time, right? So if you look behind me here, that way. Nope, that way. Yep, there we go. So that's actually our facility, right? So we run a 44-foot Vendome column. On top of that, we run a 550 pot from Vendome as well. So that allows Nathan to do about 50 barrels a week by himself.
Oh, sweet.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow.
We are
Driftless
darn
busy.
near out of room up there.
Yeah, absolutely. Any expansion you think anytime soon, Justin?
We're pretty locked as far as, because one side's the Baraboo River, the other side is historical landmarks. If anybody out there is familiar with Baraboo, Wisconsin, home of the Ringling Brothers, winter location. So we actually share a lot line with the Circus World Museum.
Okay.
So we can't touch that property, right? Because it's government owned and protected. And then on the other side of that is the Ringling Hotel, or the old hotel, which is apartments. But again, we can't touch that because it's a historical landmark. And then we already bought up a couple other buildings down the alleyway, but we're probably gonna have to build a secondary rick house outside of town down the road to just warehouse barrels offsite.
Okay, that's fair. That is fair. That's awesome. Dave, it looks like you picked up a cast strength Driftless on site, which is pretty cool. That's awesome. Very nice.
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good stuff for sure.
You mentioned
I don't know, what do you guys?
You mentioned a column
guys-
still and a pot still. What does this come off of?
This would have came off the column. The pot, I hate to say it, more as a focal point than it really is. I don't think Nathan uses that pot all too often, to be honest. So more for show, more for a picture taking piece. Our column, it's impossible to really get a good picture of, but I think if Nathan wants to tweak certain things, but from what I've gathered, they pretty much just run that column as hard as they can. And I mean, we're set for the future, right? I mean, if we wanted to go to 3 shifts, it's 150 barrels a week. I mean, if we ever get to that point, guys, I hope I'm talking to you from a beach in Costa Rica somewhere.
I hope we're doing this pick with you on a beach from Costa Rica.
Yeah, I'll just fly y'all out, and we'll
that
just do
would
it
be
from
wonderful.
the beach.
I like that one, Chris, for sure.
We'll do it in the middle of winter. Make
Perfect.
everybody feel nice.
That's my off
There
season.
we go. Exactly. I love it. I love it. Good stuff. All right. Are we ready to move over to before we have to come back? 1696.
Let's do it.
Here we go.
Do it. All right, Julie. Ladies first, Julie. So we're gonna turn it over to you. What are you getting, Julie?
So I got some banana chips on the nose. Oaky. There's some it definitely smells like a rye. Ryes are very distinct. So this has those rye baking notes to it.
You know what's
There
funny
is
about
something
this one?
sweet though in there, like bready.
This to me, this is interesting. And Julie, I think you hit the nail on the head. It has like the baking spices meets banana notes. This to me almost smells like it could be like a high rye bourbon, almost in a way, right? Like it almost could be. This is really sweet on the nose. Oh man, this is really sweet on the nose. Tons of like brown sugar.
It is kind of banana bready.
Yeah.
Banana bread. Yep, absolutely.
And vanilla.
Yeah, and a little bit of that chocolate that you sometimes get when you get that like grain to glass. Like you get a nice bit of that grain, but it sometimes presents as chocolate on the nose.
Yeah.
Yep.
That smells great.
It does. It really does.
Man, all three of these quite different from each other on the nose.
Completely. I love that. I love that.
Yeah, very
it's
different.
always nice. It's always nice when that happens, right? I tried to mix these up the best I could, right? At the end of the day, Casey and Nathan are in charge of getting me my samples. They do not let me run around that rick house with a drill in my hand. I have no clearance to do that. If you guys ever come up sometime, pick a weekday, because if the boys aren't around, I am not allowed to touch those barrels.
No? Okay.
Usually Casey's a pretty good team player. He lives in town. I live down in the Madison area, so I'm not up in the Baraboo area unless it's, private tours and tastings and barrel picks. But usually Casey's a pretty awesome team player. If I'm up there with a group and maybe we can't find anything we can really sink our teeth into, I can call him on a Saturday and say, hey, man, come on over and start drilling barrels. And he's like, okay.
That's awesome. That's cool. That's really cool. I love that.
We really have a great team now. It took us, I'd argue, 6 years to find the current team we have at Driftless Glen, to where everybody is completely bought in and understands our mission and our goals and what we're going after, and customer service. And you guys come first and not second or third or fourth. It took us a little while to weed through some folks. So
that's awesome. Now it sounds like you guys are definitely obviously already in a good place and definitely headed in a even a better direction for sure, which is awesome. Oh, this is nice. Chris, what do you think about this one?
I was trying to figure out if this was, again, we haven't sipped yet, but the ethanol seems to be dissipating the further on that we go. And then the chocolate notes are definitely there. That once Phil said chocolate on this, I almost can't miss them now.
Yeah. That peppery, green pepper, chocolate, along with the banana bread. There's something earthy and baked about this one.
Julie's got something.
She does.
No, I already cheated because I was like, I'm just gonna start.
Oh,
drinking.
she's sipping. Oh
And
man.
so I'm curious what you guys think about this because
Yeah, great point, Troy. Make sure you guys check out, if you haven't done thus far, Bourbon of the Week, Chris, as well as Phil and Julie. Make sure you guys subscribe to the Bourbon Van as well as Bourbon of the Week. Oh, so Julie, I can't lie. I think this is a classic, literally. Because I had a sip as well. I cheated with you, Julie. The palate matches the nose for sure. Very much like like baking spices, caramel, a smidge of like vanilla, and like some oak as well. To me, this sips, in my personal opinion, a little bit closer to being a bourbon than it does a rye, almost like a high rye bourbon in a way. This is pretty good. This is pretty damn special. Oh man.
yeah, I'll be honest, I got excited when I drank this one.
Look at you.
Yeah.
I really liked this one. I do agree that it probably tastes a bit more bourbony than
You're
it does
glowing.
right. I know, I'm excited.
Okay.
I love the stickiness of this one. This one, like the flavors kind of like stuck together but in like a really good way, almost like you were eating something.
Yes.
Like
It's like a dessert, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Creamy.
I'm having a lot of trouble keeping my nose out of this glass. The nose on this one is absolutely unique.
All right. Chris, what about you, brother? What do you
Definitely
think?
the easiest transition for your everyday bourbon drinker.
Yeah.
As far as that comment goes, I think it is the closest to a bourbon. Obviously it's a rye still, but while the other two gave you a lot more of the rye influence, I think this kind of tones that back a little bit and brings out more of those traditional vanillas, caramels. I get like almost like a little bit of a honey note on this. When you mentioned sticky, I almost felt like a honey note almost on this one. And
For sure.
I do love this a lot. The finish is a little bit shorter for me on this one, but again, I don't know if I'm just missing that with the other two being so long, or.
Well, that's just the first two. The finish lasts so long. The first one especially.
Yeah.
The
true.
finish is a little short on this one, but the it is almost like the palate is again banana bread with chocolate chips in it.
Yeah.
It's spicy. It's sweet. It's lovely.
That'd be a great shelf talker.
Yeah.
Let's start using that one.
They're so unique, which is what I love, and a lot of times you don't get that. So I guess I would say thanks to you, Justin. Also, thanks to your master distiller as well. But I love the fact how each and every one of these, like all three, they're completely different, which is so cool.
This one is definitely the bready. We keep saying that breadiest, but it is the breadiest of the bunch.
It's the baked goodiest.
It's the baked goodiest of the bunch. It is probably like you're right, like the least rye. I'm a fan of like the distinctive, like I like when you drink something and you're like, yep, that's a rye.
Yeah.
Yep.
But obviously from drink, like someone who maybe isn't just trying to get into Rise or whatever, this would be the easiest transition. Chris, I think you nailed that. Yeah.
Yeah. Boy, that's really satisfying.
Mhm.
I'm getting a little bit more linger on the finish here now.
Mhm. Yeah, it's not a punch in the face finish on this one. For
It's
sure.
not a punch in the
Again, if you didn't have the first two to experience that finish, I don't think it would have ever crossed my mind as saying it's a short finish. But compared to those first two, that they were just forever. The first one, I was like, I need water just to get this out of my taste.
Yeah, the first one that took a while to like leave my palate. The first one was like it made its presence, like seriously.
Yeah.
That first one was like Mike Tyson, like, you know, you felt it, like, damn, that hurt, you know, but in a good way. In a good way.
And I think it's also interesting. Judge, you've obviously had Driftless before, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Phil and Julie, this is your first time experiencing it, or
we've had the bourbon.
No. I had their bourbons, various different single barrels, and various different ryes. I like the bourbons a lot, but I think your ryes, Justin, are just flat out amazing. I don't know what's going on in Wisconsin with their ryes and so forth, but their ryes are just special. They're very unique in a lot of ways. The reason why I like them. Really cool.
Again, and appreciate the compliments, right? And admittingly, right, guys, and if you've watched other, whether it's Driftless Glen picks or things like that on YouTube or other channels, whenever I'm doing barrel picks with folks like yourselves, whether it's online or up at the distillery or in someone's basement, the feedback is typically, man, your bourbon's really solid. We really like it, right? We're going to do a barrel of bourbon just because that's what the masses of our whiskey groups and followers want. But damn, that rye is phenomenal. Like we'll take two. You know, if admittingly, man, I wish the market, right? The offsite, the liquor stores, grocery stores, things of that nature. I wish that translated, right? But admittingly, if I sold a liquor store in Wisconsin a barrel of bourbon and a barrel of rye, same case yield, I'll sell them 3 more barrels of bourbon before they'll pull through that rye.
Right.
That's just the nature of the market, right? So
yeah.
But hey, if the experts have only been saying rye is going to make a massive comeback this year for the last decade, so maybe they'll be right.
This is that year.
I'm a rye pusher, so
Julie's been saying it for about 6 months, so it should catch on any minute now.
Yeah,
any minute.
I hear you. Hustle, man, that's a good question. I don't remember when Justin went through the Northeast states, whether or not if Maryland was one or not. So I'll let Justin answer
Maryland,
that one.
we are in Maryland. I want to say, once again, bear with me here, because up until, we'll call it a month for easy math, you know, I really haven't had much to do with outside the state of Wisconsin. If you go to our website, so driftlessglen.com, there's actually a Find Driftless Glen in all of the states that we're currently in. We have a great partnership with our distributor in Maryland. They've been with us for a very long time. I believe we're going to stay with them. I want to say we may be in some of the Total Wines out there, but other than that, the best bet is to go to our website and check out the Where Can We Find Driftless Glen tab. And it won't give you specific SKUs, I don't think, but and I can't guarantee, even if it says it may have been in those locations at some point, it may have never been reordered. I just don't know. So we do have distribution,
probably at least
where it's at.
At least you can probably get a good idea from like your, you know, certain states have like your larger stores, so you can probably always even ask like your larger stores, like, you know, I know there's like Specs in certain states, like down south in Texas, and you have Benny's in like the Chicago area,
Party
Total
stores.
Wines. Total Wine. So if you go to some of those larger stores, you'll probably get a good understanding of whether or not, like, you know, where exactly, like in your specific state, to that question about Maryland, like, is it sold? So you can probably find out from that, as well as your website, Driftless Glen, distillery.com for sure. Yep, completely. Before I make a decision personally, you guys want to go back like super quick and just, I mean, we don't even like, you know, just kind of go through and taste them all real quick again, or how do you guys feel, Phil and Julie and Chris?
I would like to go back the other way, and we actually have some water here too. I wouldn't mind putting a drop or two of water in them too, to see if anything comes out of them.
Yeah, because I like going back the other way. I have an order for my noses, what I like, but for the palate, I think they're all so different that I just need a little bit more time with them.
Yeah, absolutely. Indeed. Completely understand that for sure.
Oh,
what's going on, Jason? We have Jason from Mash and Drum in the house. What's going on, JC? Good to see you, brother.
Hey, buddy, we got to
Legend.
teach him how to spell Sharpee one of these days, but that's okay. I mean, God bless him. You think after how many barrel picks we've done with those rascals, but they've been, once again, right? I mean, none of this would have been possible without the support of again, groups like yourselves and those guys and some others around the state and other national groups as well. I mean, it just wouldn't have been possible. And these barrel picks have just been so instrumental in our growth and our reach over the last, handful of years. It's just been phenomenal. So like I said, thank goodness Nathan keeps putting good juice in bottles. I wish indeed. I could take any credit for that. I have the luxury of putting it in people's mouths and having a good time. So
that's awesome. Nathan's doing a great job, man.
Judge, I have a question for you as the one of us that has tried the most rise out of this. I'm always interested when doing barrel picks to get something that's a little bit more unique than your traditional, hey, this is Driftless Glen. This is what everybody knows it as. It's delicious. We love it. But you don't want to have the same thing that everybody else is putting out and what Driftless is putting out on their own. So do you find yourself, without influencing us in any way on your particular favorite, do you find one of these different or more different than their traditional ones that you've had in the past?
So two of them align to ones I've had in the past, right? So I've sipped a lot of Driftless Glen at various different bourbon bars, no matter if it's in Kentucky or any other state. But two of them remind me of that they would be really good picks based off of the audience in mind, right? And I say that to say, I think about like the masses and like what the masses want. If the masses are looking for something that is like a traditional rye, I think that there's one that really kind of stands out. And if the masses are looking for one that's a good blend of like a traditional rye, but might also be almost like a hybrid, if you will, I think there's another one that kind of stands out. There is one that I think might be a bit unique, that might not be, well suited for everyone, but it's still very good within its own right, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is a really tricky one.
It's tricky going. I've just been kind of doing tiny tastes going back the other way. And my order has shifted a little bit from where I started, I think.
Anyway, well, we have a cat now. Has the cat picked?
The cat is actually the one that gets to pick.
She gets to pick. She just knocks over a glass and says, "That's the one you're going with."
That's the one you're going with.
And that'll be that.
Last time I was on with the Mash and Drum Boys, I incorporated my corgi into the mix, but the corgi's already sleeping. Well past her bedtime tonight.
I love corgis. They're so cute with the little legs.
That's awesome. So wait, so Phil and Julie, did it change just going back through neat, or did it change because of the adding like a drop of water?
No, we've just been going neat.
Yeah,
for me, it changed just by going neat because I figured I didn't want to hold this up here. So
are we going to pick before we know any more information, or are we going to get an idea? Are we going to write down, get information, go back through one more time, and then pick? I feel like that's gonna change the game here.
Yeah, I think we pick without knowing all the details from
without the information. Okay,
I'm with Marcus on this one. Yeah,
shoot from the hip.
Okay, I like it.
I like how you guys roll.
Gunslingers.
I'm scared.
Gunslingers, yeah.
You're scared.
By the way,
I'm scared.
I'm scared.
Well, there's no bad answer.
That's the thing, is there's none of these are bad options.
I just feel bad that I didn't send you guys a cute like wooden tackle box that like smoke comes out of it when you get your samples, and it has like a map and a story.
Oh, man.
I mean,
I wouldn't have shown up. I would not have shown up.
Maybe a little eyedropper, and I just send you glass bottles of booze in it, and I just hope
with
that
numbers.
I
We're not in Costa Rica yet. We got time.
Yeah, a couple more years.
Woo!
Shout out to Jason, by the way, hosting a fundraiser tomorrow night on the Mash and Drum.
Yes, yeah, huge shout out. Yeah, make sure you guys check out the live stream tomorrow night. Great cause. That's from Phil and Julie. Keep me honest. It's from 8 to 9, and then 9 to 11 on Jason's channel. Correct?
That's my understanding. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. What time are you guys joining, by the way?
We're going to be on Jason's channel 6:15 to 6:30. I want to say our time. I think.
Okay, so 9:15. Okay, awesome. Right after you guys. I'll miss you guys.
Yeah. Yeah. We're gonna have Dave and Kira and Lance and Renee, Whiskey Tornado, joining us for our segment.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I hear
A
you.
lot of good bottles. A lot of good bottles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good bottles, good
Definitely
vibes.
for a great cause, for
That'll
sure.
be a big night.
Yeah, big night, huge calls. And that's what I love about the whiskey community coming together for something that, for a really good cause, obviously with Darrell and his child and so forth, and what they're going through. So yeah, shout out to Jason for organizing that. Such a huge event.
Absolutely.
Really nice. Well, Phil, I don't know if I'm going to say fortunately or unfortunately, my lens has shifted as well. There's one
really?
I think is, yeah, it really did big time. I didn't expect this either. So I'm going to hold back. I'm not going to say anything.
I think you and I think we're on the same page again, Marcus. I really do.
I threw my playbook upside down too.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone's going to agree with me. So that's,
I stuck with it from the beginning. I had my
Look
favorite,
at-
and that's what I'm going
You
with.
did.
Yeah.
Even from the beginning, you did. Okay.
Chris is Mr. Consistency tonight.
Man,
Yeah,
I was
he is.
right there. I was right there when I tried this one.
He is. Yeah, Hustle Man. We don't know the proofs. Yeah, I mean, we know it's like a range, roughly 120-ish, but that could be 127 for one. The next one could be 118, right? Which is in the same ballpark, but still obviously a unique difference. So we will find out very soon. Justin is the man with the all the info. We're gonna find out, but we're gonna wait until after we pick our barrel to find out all the details. So,
you drank all yours already. I gave you the bigger glasses.
I know, because I couldn't make a decision. It's terrible. I just keep drinking, but I don't know what to do.
that's all right. Nothing wrong with that at all, Julie.
That's the story of my life, Julie. That's what I do. I just keep drinking. I don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All right, I've got
Teresa,
my.
it's okay, Teresa. I like Julie better too.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like when the glasses are gone, then it forces your hand to make a decision. Like, I mean, you have all this.
left.
You can share. We can share.
You can
I do
share.
have an
Just
order.
look at it one more time here.
I have an order written down. I feel. What if all four of us are different?
I think we're
Oh,
going to
you're
be.
doing an order. Okay.
I think we're going to be
We
completely
don't have to put
different.
them in order. I'll just say my number one, but in case like nobody else was on that.
I am really surprised by 2 drops of water where I'm going here.
I will say the 1 drop of water added a lot of flavor
Oh, what am I doing? I got my drop right here.
to well, I think all 3 glasses, but glass number 1 specifically.
Really?
It really changed it that much?
I went I went the other way on glass number 1 when I added some water to it, and actually just going back the other way. I can tell you. Well, I'll save it for later.
Yeah. Hold on.
I don't want to
one
influence
second.
anybody.
So are you guys saying that we want to do, I think Chris said it, and I'm okay with that too. If we want to do an order, is that what we're trying to do? Like
No,
rank
we
it
can
from,
just say our number 1s and see if we match up.
Should we
Which I
say
know
our
what
number
we're gonna
1s or
do.
should we say our number 3s and see if we knock all the same one out?
that's interesting.
See, now Julie's like, which one is number 3?
Here, you can help.
Oh, you didn't mix them up, did you? Uh-oh. I've had that happen before. It's an awkward situation when you're out of samples.
Yeah, it could definitely be very challenging.
Just smelling the bottom of the glass.
Man,
What if we just go with number 1? What if we just go with our number 1 and then
Just
we'll go from
that's
there?
fine with me.
Let's
too.
do
That's
that.
fine.
Let's go with our number 1s. I think it's easier. So let's start off. We're going to separate your votes, Phil and Julie. So let's go with Julie's number 1.
I changed it. Ironically, this is not my favorite nose,
Okay.
but I went with glass number 1, 1629.
Oh, 69. Okay. All right. So 1629 is Julie's number 1. All right. Let's now move over to Chris.
I, as always, also went with number 1s for my number 1.
Chris.
It's just the way it works out.
I bet you these
Okay.
2 are gonna, yeah.
They're going number 3. I can already see it.
And let's go with Phil. Phil, what's your number 1?
I'm honestly conflicted across the board on this because first impression, glass number 1 is the best to me.
Pause. Hold on, Phil. No looking at your wife. I want your judgment, Phil.
Yeah, what were you gonna
No
say
looking at your wife.
before
Hell
you
no.
go
None of that.
I love number 1. And number 2, the first time through, glass number 2 was my least favorite. Once I went back the other direction, 3 was my favorite, and when I added water, 2 was my favorite. Honestly, I'm all over the map tonight. I'm having a terrible time making a decision tonight.
Okay.
I still really like glass number 1, but with a little water, glass number 2, it was already cohesive, and then it's super cohesive with a little bit of water in it. So
I got to agree that glass number 2 is very, very well put together. There's nothing sharp about it.
I guess if I had one complaint, it would be that because it's so cohesive and easy drinking, that makes it somewhat less interesting, which seems like kind of a cop out, but it's really nice.
Not a cop out. If you
It
want
is.
to
So Phil and I are always aligned, which I always think is funny. I loved number 3, 1696. I loved it. I thought it was great. And then I went back through them again, neat and with water. And for me, hands down, oddly enough, the Devil's number 1666, I think, is the best overall. Neat and with water. After I went back through them. So
2-2. Where's the cat?
Where's
the cat?
Where's the cat? Where's the cat? Get the cat involved.
Where's the cat? Just toss it over.
Come on, Mavis. Come
Does
on.
anyone
I'm
have
gonna
a
have to
neighbor?
steal some of Phil's glasses.
She's been chewing on the microphone cable down here, so if we cut out all of a sudden, blame it on the cat.
I will
That's
say I
right.
did write down the most flavor notes for glass number 2. If anyone likes that.
There's a lot to like.
Yeah.
There. Glass number 1 is an intense glass.
very
but it's
intense.
So satisfying.
Yeah, it is. Glass number 1 is definitely glass number 1 is like a beast. It's definitely very proof forward, regardless if it's the highest proof of them or not. But it's definitely very, very proofy for sure.
So I'll play devil's advocate, especially because Devil's Candy there at 666 there. Glass number 2 does strike me more so than glass number 1 as something that maybe would appeal to a broader audience. Not broader audience, but people that like ryes but are not looking for that like huge punch.
Yeah,
like
punch in the fit at Mike Tyson.
Yeah, like glass number 1, the flavors are really rye. I mean, like those notes are like really sharp and like that pepper note and all that kind of stuff. Glass number 2 has like a very large array of flavors and enough sweetness to balance the rye spice. So that's my devil's advocate with the R166.
Completely agreed. Yeah, it's tough, right? It's a tough one. So Justin, I know you're trying to remain Switzerland here. I think you've had all these, I believe, right?
When I send out samples, I have complete trust in Casey and Nathan. I do not. I'd have a major problem on my hands if I was tasting every sample that I was sending out.
That's true.
No, I did not try these.
Okay, good. That's okay. No, that's even better. I was going to ask you for
I'm even more of Switzerland now. I'm more like,
you're even more. Like true Switzerland.
Like Switzerland Island.
True Switzerland, like no hidden agenda, just true Switzerland.
All right.
So I will say when I did my
rank,
the nosing, like the order of nosing, glass number 2 was my number 1 nose, and glass number 1 was actually my number 3 nose. It was not my favorite nose. I just like the palate.
Yeah.
So glass number 2 does have that really nice appeal right from the beginning. I'm not like talking myself into it. I'm 100%
You're talking yourself into
glass number 2 if that's where we're going. So that's I'm just saying. Yeah.
I think we can agree that we can cut glass 3, right?
Yeah.
I think we all agree on that.
Glass 3, we can definitely cut.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think glass 3 is that traditional. It's almost too traditional. It's very, very good, but as far as what we're looking for in a rye from Driftless Glen, I'd rather have
that banana bread note with chocolate chips is really, it's very pleasant, but it's not standout compared to the others.
Yeah, it's not. It's too much like a bourbon, honestly, number 3. And I like that a lot, but it's almost too much like a bourbon. I like 1 and 2 for different reasons. This is tough.
Yeah.
So my order was actually 2, 1, 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was in the same boat.
So we're very close. I mean, this is like flip of the coin. Oh, this is tough. Oh man.
I don't know how to make the final decision because
Well, Delaware Bourbon Society just made it.
Yeah, I don't disagree with anybody who's gonna put that as the end all be all. As this is a pick for not ourselves, for our patrons, for other people, the public. Do I think that they're going to hate number 2? Absolutely not. I think they're going to love it. Do I think that it's probably a little bit more friendly for your everyday, not making YouTube video content, not drinking this stuff, night after night, trying to figure out what you like best as far as your tasting notes? Yeah, absolutely. I do think that number 2 would be that one.
Chris, I was gonna say, Chris, I agree, and I'm, it doesn't matter. I agree. It doesn't matter which one we like the best. We're here to like tell you what we're tasting, but I am happily on board with number 2, and I do think that it has a broader appeal than number 1.
Yeah, and I have to admit, I just took a sip of number 1. Flavor wise, I love it.
Dynamite.
It is. It coats like crazy. It's so intense. That finish lasts an eternity.
It does.
But she's hot. That's
she's hot.
She is hot.
She's very hot.
After 4 ounces
the thing is, as much as I liked it neat with water in it, I actually thought that those big bombastic flavors, they just went away.
I think maybe that's why I liked it a little bit more, because it made it a little rounder. But most people aren't going to drink it probably with water.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe
with a couple drops of water, that one actually disappointed me. I was bummed by it because I liked it so much neat.
Yeah.
It's so tricky.
Yeah. I'm kind of with you guys. I think number 2 might be the overall best when I look at it from our respective patron groups and trying to make everyone happy. I think number 2 is definitely the most well-rounded from that perspective. Number 1 is probably the most unique as a whole, but like you said, Phil, she is very spicy, literally. I mean, she's some heat.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Big time. All right. So does that mean we're going with number 2, Devil's Number, which is an easy number to remember?
I love it.
Love it. That's awesome. And we're coming up on Halloween.
That's true too.
So true.
We did
so
it.
true. All right. Another one in the books. Good stuff. All right. So we picked number 2, R1666. So Justin, if you don't mind, give us the details like of the other 2, and then last but not least, the one we picked.
So the details of the other 2, again, if you followed other picks, right? So our proofs don't range all that much, right? And especially barrels that are this close, these are all pushing 8. Actually, by the time that this probably gets dumped, she might be 8 years old, which would make it one of the oldest Driftless Glen barrel picks in the country.
Get it.
There we go.
Promise you that it's going to be 8, but it all depends on how fast Casey finds this barrel tomorrow.
Tell him to take his time.
Take his time. It's all
8, 8.5, 9, whatever you need.
Yeah. Hey guys, I'll send it to you in a year from now. All right, sounds good.
We'll mail them from Cancun.
We'll see you.
Mail it from Cancun.
But so the one you landed on, so she's going to come in about 120.
Okay.
And
I did not think
mash
that at
bills,
all.
75 rye, 25 malt, 53-gallon barrel, all Kelvin cooperages, all char level 4. They're right there. They're some of our oldest ryes that we honestly have at the shop right now. So
nice.
As far as 53s, we still have some of our, I don't know if we're going to even bother trying to sell them. We still have a little bit of those old 25 and 30-gallon ryes laying around somewhere, but they've spent almost 9 years in a barrel now. And
just send them to me. I'll take care of those for you.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Don't even worry about it.
Need somebody to dispose of it. Chris has got you.
Yeah.
We terribly miscalculated the bourbon to rye ratio of how much rye we had to lay down. I don't think we
were looking for burr ryes, so you got a little extra bourbon to mix around.
Yeah. So we have an abundance of either one, but we have not laid down any rye, I don't think, for probably the past couple of years. We just don't have to. We have plenty with the current pull, but so you're going to sit right around 120 on that proof of 1666.
Nice.
And let's see here. Any other fun points there? God, I wish it was more complicated than that, but that's
all right. No,
that's kind of the fun part of this business. And, I think one of the romantic things about this business, if you guys are on a tour with me, that I always like to point out, right? Like, what's done the same way it even was heck, 4 years ago, right?
No,
this
true.
is one of those last remaining Americana, staples that it's still, yes, still technology is improved, right? And all of that. Like they weren't building 44 footers in the backwoods of Virginia, but I think you would have been busted pretty quick. But, the fact that she comes off the still, she goes into the barrel and you just wait and you hope. And you hope it doesn't taste like what.
Yep.
Fortunate in our case, more often than not, she hits and we're off like a herd of turtles. But yeah, so that's really
awesome.
the background there, guys. So sorry, just everybody in suspense, but yeah.
No,
I liked it. I like it.
Yeah. What's your turn time, Justin? Like roughly, like to
Great
get
question.
it. I'm sorry.
So typically on barrel picks, we're one of the quicker ones in the country. If you wanted to, I can get this to you in a month.
Perfect. Okay.
I want to call it 8 years. So how long do we need for that?
Chris, I need to take a look at my current bonus structure.
That's fair.
and what I need to have out the door by the end of Q3.
I understand that. It's already bottled, is what you're telling me.
No, we don't roll like that.
I love it, Chris. You are funny, man.
Quit acting like you're not going to pair this with a pumpkin ice cream, Chris.
It's going to be delicious too. I can promise you that.
Chris might pay Justin in free ice cream like for life in order to get this to be 8 years old.
We'll cater the next event down there at Driftless.
I'll talk to Casey tomorrow. If we're close, I'll see what we can do. I mean, if we're months, can't do that.
Yeah. That's cool.
And obviously, we got everybody excited tonight. We're not going to make them wait.
Exactly.
Exactly.
That's something I love when a lot of these liquor stores do. They do barrel picks, and it finally lands 7 months later. And I walk in, I go, I didn't know you're doing a pick of that. And they go, I don't even remember what it tastes like.
Yeah,
totally.
Or in some cases, they forget that they bought it.
This is good. This was a nice one. This is very nice. This is damn good.
So just to keep this in mind as well, guys, obviously I know all three of you have a lot of followers and a lot of people that are gonna listen to you and be really excited about this pick. On the off chance that this yields something nuts, like let's just say she was a leaker and it yields 8 6-packs.
Yeah.
Right. Because I'll admit we just had that happen.
Okay.
And we had a second barrel waiting in the wings so that you didn't just release 42 bottles,
Perfect. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep. 1629, Justin. You're reading my mind.
Okay.
1629.
Number one.
The devil's candy.
And then, the second place one will be 1629.
So and the second place is, yeah.
So what I'll do, Marcus, is I'll get with all you guys as soon as I get a case yield.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
And are you guys going to do?
What's a normal yield?
Typically, cast strength rye at this age, I'd call it 25 6-packs. Okay. If it does what it should do.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's 29, sometimes it's 8.
Yeah.
8's a bummer.
Yeah.
8 would be a bummer. All right, so at least we have a good backup. So if it only ends up yielding 8, at least we have 1629. We could do a second barrel, which is awesome.
50 bottles.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I was doing math. I was like, 150 bottles. That's a lot of bottles. Yeah. If it was 25 6-packs, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it's 25, then we're golden. If it's 8, we'll come up with a back plan. And again, the nice thing with us too, we're pretty flexible to where if you guys have a number in your head and let's say it does yield 8, but you weren't quite looking for 35, you're like 25 would be perfect. I can work with you on that as well. It's not a problem.
Okay. That's fair. We appreciate it. That's awesome.
I have enough hardcore cast strength rye fans out here in Wisconsin that they'd gobble a couple cases up for sure. Because again, we only offer our cast strength by the barrel. So you can't find our cast strength bourbon or rye just anywhere. Those accounts have to purchase it by the barrel, which, as you know, for a lot of independent liquor stores, that's a tall ask at our price tag. So
yeah, indeed. Justin, had a quick question here real quick from I think Julie has one, and then William, but let's go with Julie first because I know she's been holding it. So Julie, to you first.
My question is just to bring us back to earlier in the evening. Is number one the 1629 proofier than 1666?
Oh, yes.
Great question.
Yeah, great question, Julie. Great question.
122.
Yes.
That's what I had.
Not big enough.
Love it.
Same thing I
Good stuff,
said.
Julie. Thank you.
No, you said it was higher.
Did you guys really guess 122?
I literally did.
122?
Horrible
I said
handwriting and all,
122.
but 122 on the dot.
All right. Well, truth be told, I actually texted Marcus that number, but
I knew it. I knew it. A little behind the scenes.
Oh, good stuff.
I had 116, and I was surprised that 3 was at 120. I would never have put it at 120. I was closer to like 114, 115 on that.
Yeah, 3 drank pretty easy. Can
yeah,
comparably.
Yeah, number one, I would have had like 120. I probably would have said it like 126 or something. It was warm.
yeah,
It was warm.
The highest I've even seen come out of the distillery this year is we just bottled up a bourbon today that cracked off at 125, which is honestly one of the higher proofs that I've seen all year come out of our distillery. So,
Well, you don't have it.
Yeah.
What's the hot, like how hot does it get in your warehouses?
right. So our rickhouse is not climate controlled. So we're at the mercy of the Wisconsin climate. When it gets below 55, it does absolutely nothing in there. I don't know an actual temperature for you, Chris, as far as that goes. It does get pretty toasty in there, but not as hot as you'd think, because that liquid, it almost feels like we have the air conditioning on in that barrel house, because that liquid from the wintertime carries over into darn near July until it actually starts heating back up. So salesman cap on, that's what makes our juice unique. Salesman cap off. Yeah. Dang, I could use about 3 more months of hot days and cool nights.
Yeah, I was gonna say hot days don't come too often.
No,
I hear you. I hear that. So William has a question regarding tours. I know you were talking about it earlier, but Justin, do you actually give tours, or is it someone else on your team? Or
we do have a full-time tour guide who runs Wednesday through Sunday. I do not. You won't find me up there giving tours to the general public, as much as I'd love to have that much free time between running my day job on top of that, private tours and tastings and barrel picks and all of that out in the market. That would be impossible. So you won't find me up there giving tours, but you'll be in good hands.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, we appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Obviously, if you guys come up, we will be there.
Awesome. No, we appreciate it. Thanks so much. Yeah, no, my goal is definitely to get out to Wisconsin next year. I have some friends out there as well, more in the Milwaukee area, but I'm willing to make that drive over. So that's my goal for 2024. So we will definitely connect in person for sure. Absolutely. Definitely. Phil, Julie, Chris, any last questions for Justin before we rock and roll and end the night?
I have
Kat?
No question.
Well,
He's answered everything for me.
You said 75% rye, 25% malt. Is that malted rye?
Malted barley.
Malted barley. It is barley. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
There you go, Mavis. Now you know.
Now Mavis knows. Yeah, and again, as always, Marcus, right? Huge thank you to you guys for having me on. Thank you for the support. Thanks to everybody who watched, who's purchased a bottle, who's going to purchase a bottle. Again, we're not blind to the fact that without that support, I like to look at it almost like NASCAR. Without your fans, you're nothing.
Right.
So true.
So
well said.
Really, really appreciate. I know everybody has options, right? You walk into a liquor store, there's only about 400 bourbons.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know? So for you guys to vote with your wallet and pick a bottle of Driftless Glen means a lot to us. And thank you to everybody out there. So appreciate you having me on.
Likewise. Thanks so much, Justin.
Thanks, Justin.
Yeah, it's really a blast.
Marcus, are we hanging out after this?
Yeah, we're gonna hang out afterwards for sure. Absolutely. So
I didn't know if you're gonna kick me in the back room again and put me on.
No.
We're actually gonna talk crap if you could hop off real quick.
That Justin guy. No.
And don't watch the YouTube, you know?
Yeah, indeed. No. This is great. Justin, thanks so much for joining us. Phil, if you guys again to kind of end the night, Phil and Julie for the Bourbon Van. Awesome channel. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Make sure you guys check out the Bourbon Van, as well as Chris from Bourbon of the Week. Funniest guy by far, in my personal opinion, in Whiskey Tube, hands down. That's my personal feeling, and I think adds a ton of value in the Whiskey Tube world. So definitely check out the Bourbon Van as well as Bourbon of the Week, and then also make sure, if you haven't done thus far, make sure the next time you're out and about, grab a bottle of Driftless Glen bourbon or rye. To each and every one of you, cheers. Much love and respect. Take care, everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.